Hello, beautiful people. How are all of you doing today? Chat, how do you do? Hello! You still have a special place in my heart. Chat, I have some good news and I have some bad news. Good news, um I'm actually motivated to start setting up stuff for the meta roundup uh improvements I want to make for the future. And that should actually take a decent amount of time today, so should be a bit of a longer stream. The bad news is I went to the library yesterday and I realized there is one shelf of books in English. Everything else is books in French. So that fucking sucks. But anyways, I borrowed a book. I borrowed a book in French because the selection of books in English did not look very good. Um, but I'm only a few chapters in, but it looks like a pretty good book. Go to another library. It's the only library that's in walking distance from my house, my home, my apartment, whatever. What kind of book is it? It's a fantasy novel by Brandon Sanderson, but a French translation, so aware. I didn't really want to fucking gamble on on an actual French author I didn't know. Is it one of the main ones? I think it's called Warbreaker or something. But I'm only a few chapters in. But so far it looks pretty good. Sleep check. I slept fine. Didn't sleep a lot, but it was. I don't think I woke up during the night. Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. The title is very stylized on the cover, so I'm not sure if it's Warbreaker or something else, but I think it's Warbreaker. Brandon Sanderson Warbreaker. Hmm. Hmm. Je voudrais un baguette. No, it's une baguette. Sorry. Okay. It's really fun and one of the best to start. Alright, that's good to know. So far the exposition seems a little heavy. But I'm still able to follow. But it's definitely, I don't know. I mean, I'm still at the start, so it is what it is. He does a lot of world building in the spin-off books. Yeah, I mean, I'm not far into it, but at least in the first few chapters, I've noticed as much. But I might go read in a park or some shit today. The vibe at the library itself was kind of meh. You're gonna test Kanish with Lynette? Right, I did get a DM about that. I don't really see the point, though. Is there some sort of synergy? You can use Lynette instead of Daya or some shit. It's not really... Doesn't seem too good, but I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, I need to figure out how I'm gonna set up the meta roundup stuff. I think I'll make a channel in the Discord for submissions, and I'll ask someone to like organize them. But would any of the mods have the time and motivation to organize them? I don't want to ask Lud, because Lud already does too much. Organize what? I mean, I've talked about it a little bit before, but I haven't talked about it that much. I wanna... Very annoying. I wanna change the format of the meta roundup. Where instead of just going through like the teams, I'd like to have people submit footage of their clears with a bunch of different teams. And then I could go through that footage as part of the meta roundup. Compiling the footage and like watching everything would be a good way to get more stream content. And it would make the meta roundup videos a bit better structured, I guess. I want to develop a tagging system so users can tag their own submissions and help with organization. Yeah, that's a good idea. Fuck. Okay, dude, that came out of nowhere. That's bullshit. Whatever. I need to do some strong box soon. Because I'm starting to get to the point where I have to clear my artifacts every fucking day. Multiple times a day. Wanderer can be better than Neuvillette in some scenarios. I mean, sure, I guess. against Tulpa, true. True indeed. Why do you have so many refinement mats for every weapon? Why don't we refine them? Well, if I don't use a weapon, what do I gain from refining them? Nothing. But refining them costs more. Which means that it's strictly... It's a net negative to refine them. Plus, stacking them up like this is kind of fun. Don't you agree? Anyways, let's go do a little bit of strong boxing. Agreed? Agreed. Your Kinesia's talent's done, by the way. Today's talent day. I'm more gated by the Saurian drops than by the talent materials. And I can't be bothered farming Saurians. So, pretty much, yeah. Okay, do I actually want this or do I want something else? I'm not actually sure. Magically could be good, but maybe I should just do Emblem, honestly. The biggest problem is that I have a lot of locked artifacts that are not good enough to be locked. I'll have to go through them. That's fine. We don't have to start with that. Do I want to keep something like this? Not really. Just auto-add? No, because I don't know if there's anything that's worth locking here. Auto-adding is something you do if you've already checked everything. And I don't know if I have. Let's see if we start with anything good. Nah. No. 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 That's worth locking. No. 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 Well, no. 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 OkaygeBusiness. No. My Dendro Goblets aren't the best, so I'll lock this. Honestly, I don't think it's ever worth locking a 3-liner. Unless it's, like, perfect. For feathers on Emblem for me. Alright. Let's get something good on this one. Agreed? Agreed. Oh, not good enough. Well, that's unfortunate. It's okay. Happens, I guess. Page of business. What's your opinion on Doom posting? Since you can stack Kazuha and Shalona and make Abyss even tankier. I mean, they're gonna make Abyss tankier no matter what. They've been doing it for 4 years. There's no reason for them to stop. Okay, I'll lock that. Okay, maybe. First decent piece. Fog. Is this good? No crit rate. Meh. Wait, you can actually get 4 big shots on Knief sometimes? You can get 5 if everything goes right. Do I ever want to lock this? If there's a future Dendro character, what sort of team would you use this instead of Deepwood? What sort of a Dendro character would use this over Deepwood? I guess. I can't really see it. Actually, yeah, maybe in aggravate teams where the Dendro character doesn't do too much damage. If you get a Dendro support for aggravate teams. But if they don't do too much damage, you don't want this. Like, you don't care about Dendro damage bonus. If they do a lot of damage, is this set better than the alternatives? It probably still is. Fine. We'll keep that. You know what? Let's just keep the elemental damage goblets for these. At least for now. Not this, though. How many hydro goblets do I have? Holy. Do I want to lock this? No, I don't. This I might lock, yeah. So, same for this. Sure. Whatever. Okay, I already have my headpiece for Shalonen. So I gotta think of like what sort of characters I'd want in the future. I mean, I don't really know. I'm assuming crit rate with ER substat is just gonna be, although maybe EM is worth keeping as well. I'm probably just ditching the rest. No. 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 Maybe. No. 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 Maybe. We'll see how that goes. Ugh. Honestly, I just can't be bothered, man. Just get this garbage out of here. I'll keep a double crit piece though. Even if it's on the wrong set for now. I don't know if that's... I don't know if I have another ER main stat, so I'll keep one ER main stat. Just so that I actually have one if I need it. And this is pretty good for defense main stat for Shalonen if I don't need the ER. Alright. OkaygeBusiness. I'm a bed of nails. Alright, let's see how this goes. Wow. 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 Is this good enough to lock? I don't think it is, actually. Feathers are like the one... My emblem feathers are my best pieces on my emblem set. So I don't think this is good enough to keep. I don't think this is good enough to keep either. Alright. Didn't I get a double crit piece somewhere? Yeah, this. Let's get ourselves an HP percent roll. Pausing. That's ass. I'll keep going though until it rolls into garbage another time. Okay, I mean, I'll take that. That's pretty good. That's a good piece to have. Yeah, it's better than this for characters that don't need the EM. Alright, Punk. He's so nonchalant about it. I mean, yeah. It's not that hard to get good artifacts. Have you guys tried just fucking getting lucky? Like what? like hello? Does someone know the title of that villainous manhwa Mr. Strimmer was talking about yesterday featuring a game dev getting reincarnated in their game as... Oh. I can go take a look on my laptop if you really want it. I'll be right back. I'm back. It's called The Villainous Princess Won't Tolerate a Bad Ending. Thank you so much for your time. I got you. Do you have any plans for the artifact transmuter? Not really. Are isekais even worth watching if you're not a straight male? I mean, there's more than one. You know, they're not all the same. I'll give it to you that there are a decent amount of isekai shits that are very heavily tailored towards straight men. Like, sure, that's fair, but that's not all that exists. Although I will say that generally, the ones that get adapted into anime are more often the ones you're talking about. What do you think about using Zhongli with Kanish to keep the serpent spine side? I mean, you can, sure. Is this another clickbait? I'm not planning on it being clickbait, but who knows? I might change my mind. People praise ReZero, but I watched it on Crunchyroll and the subtitles were horrendous. Yeah, that was your mistake. You watch it on Crunchyroll. Anyways, let's do the mini. Huge. Okay. See who can get there the fastest. Race. Comic actor Sandler. Adam. Acronym for a pro-housing movement. Is this NIMBY? There's no shot. Okay, no. Ray. Oops. Fucking Codis. Ray of Sunshine. Adieu. Places where bug juice is served and color wars are waged. Plant deep. Opposite of nay, yay. Maybe it's not yay, maybe it's yeah. What the frick? Maybe this is supposed to be AP. Then maybe this is supposed to be campus. No, never mind. I'm an idiot. There's 6 letters in campus. Camps? Oh yeah, this is ended. I'm gonna guess camps, but I'm not sure. Yeah, we did it. That's crazy. What's a YIMBY? I'm guessing it's the opposite of a NIMBY. I'm supposed this is supposed to mean. I guess this is supposed to mean yes in my backyard. Because a NIMBY is a not in my backyard. I did not know people use the YIMBY though. Never heard of it. So, NIMBYs. NIMBY is a word that's used to describe the moderate liberal that acts like they care about welfare, but or is not willing to make any concessions whatsoever. They want affordable housing, but not in their backyard. Like somewhere far away. They don't want to see the pores, you know? They don't want the pores around to drive down their real estate value. Sure, it would be, they think it would be poggers if they had a place to stay, but not if it drives down their house's price. So yeah, sure, you can build affordable housing, just not in my backyard. New Star Rail unit, Topaz and NIMBY. True! True! Entirely real. That sounds like a form of discrimination. I mean, of course it is. Why do you want me to say that, Hypatia? I need to do this in the next few days, but I really don't wanna. This. Bunch of weapon mods. Cool, I guess. Let's go. Okay. Let's let's start thinking about the rules for these clears. Alright. So I want to have multiple categories, but I don't know how many. I want to have, I think I want to separate it in low investment. I don't really want to call it that, though, because it's not really low investment. It's like... anyone can do it. Good builds. And whales. I think 3 categories is good enough. Where the anyone can do it category would be there would be actual limitations on artifact quality to try to normalize artifact quality. Good builds, there would be no limitation on artifact quality, but there would be limitation on character constellations and no 5-star weapons allowed. Or maybe allowing standard 5-star weapons, but no signature weapons. Maybe that's the right way to do it. Like you could use Lost Prayers or something like that, but you couldn't use a signature weapon. And then whales, there wouldn't be any restrictions. Maybe a dolphin category for C2R1. I don't think there's a point. I don't think there's meaningful enough of a difference between C2R1 and C6R5. Like, once you reach good builds, the difference in clear time between C2R1 and C6R5 isn't that much anymore. So it'd be like a speedrun thing, or just any competent clear is fine. I think it's a good idea to accept both. And I think I'll make a Discord channel where people submit their clears, and then when we do, like, the day we do the meta roundup, we'll go through all of our submissions and compile them in a sheet, and then talk about the results. All right, let's actually write down some well defined rules. Okay, so general rules. Please record in decent quality. .720p plus rage. No custom, or no, just in-game sounds. Include full clear plus builds. Tag yourself. Tag yourself the category. I don't know how to say it. Tag your submission with your category. um What else? No booking? I'll explain that when we get into the categories. There's going to be two different types of categories. There's going to be your investment category and your try-hard category. Right, so your investment categories are going to be these. And then the try-hard categories are going to be casual and speedrun. You can do like a whale casual run, and anyone can do it speedrun. Tryhard shouldn't have artifact quality limit. You're an idiot. Sorry, but like, why? You're like, are you not understanding what the purpose of these categories are? This is just like, do you think there's no value in understanding how well a team can perform at low investment if you're playing really good? I want to flex, then submit in a different category. I'm not fucking forcing you to submit to any of the categories. You can submit on whatever you want. You know? Maybe the submissions should be in a Discord instead of or maybe it should be on a subreddit instead of Discord though. I don't know. I don't use Reddit enough, so I don't know if it would be better. Discord has file size limit. That's fair. We have a subreddit. Technically we do, but we don't really use it. Is it going to be one submission per type? No. There's not going to be any limits to submissions. I might not get around to looking at all of them if we get a lot, but... Why not a Google form? That might be a good idea, actually. How will skill issue factor into this? If you don't think you're very good, just enter in on casual. What does speedrun mean? We'll get around to it when we are finished with the general rules. Definitely should standardize the platform we upload the videos onto. I agree. I want to say YouTube, but a lot of people are idiots and have their full-ass fucking legal name as their YouTube names account. And I don't want you guys to dox yourself. You know? Streamable? Yeah. Maybe streamable is better. Isn't there an upload limit, though? There isn't a time limit? What's the time limit? Oh, just the expiration. I see. I don't know. Like, streamable's not ideal. Like, realistically, YouTube is the better option, but, like... Ugh. Alright. Include... clear time for each chamber. Allowed to reset within chambers. Again, it'll depend on your category. What defines as whale or good build? Well, again, as usual, wait a fucking second. Are there any other general rules we should include? Okay, you know what? Upload to YouTube. I think we'll do it on a Discord or on a subreddit. I don't know, subreddit or Discord, chat. What do you guys think is better? I think the problem is, like, I don't know how to handle a subreddit. We have a subreddit, but last post on it is from 2 years ago. So, you know? Discord? Alright. I think we'll just do it on Discord then. Any Discord mods in chat that could open a channel? Upload to YouTube. Link YouTube video on Discord channel. I think that's it for the general rules we need. You should do Google Form and Discord. That's so much more effort, though. Can't be bothered. We'll streamline the way we're doing it after the first time, but for now, let's just do this. All right, next is gonna be category rules. Low investment, good builds, whales. So, two different types, investment level and try hard level. Or I guess gameplay level. Gameplay / skill level. So low investment. Low investment is going to be need to keep either flower or feather at +0 with no useful stats. Why? If you're involved enough in the Genshin community that you're submitting a run, like an Abyss clear run, you will inherently have much higher artifact quality than the average player. The low investment category is meant to simulate what an average player is going to have available to them. That's the purpose of the category. And so, because of that, there needs to be a limitation on build quality. If you're using an attack scaler, keep your flower at +0. If you're using an HP scaler, keep your feather at +0. If the scaling is something else, do whatever. Isn't it just better to have a CV cap? No. No, it's not. Because then you're going to have someone that has 10 attack percent subs and someone that has 0. And the difference is going to be fucking massive. Total useful stat cap? Okay, then you have to have a total useful stat cap that's different for every single character. Because some characters have more useful stats than others and scale better with the stats that aren't crit than others. Like, it's just, it doesn't work. No 5-star weapons. whatsoever. Um, 5-star characters must be C0. Or have a useless, or you have to not use the constellations. Or equivalent. Like, characters that have a useless C1, it's fine if you have it. Characters where the C1 you don't, like, you can use it, but you don't have to. As long as you don't use it, it's fine. And do N2J, C1 Hutao. I think you'd be better off doing N2CJ, but yeah, if you want to do N2J, knock yourself out. No restrictions on talents, but remember, the point of the category the goal with the low investment category is to showcase what someone with not the best builds will be able to do. So try not to min-max it too much. If a player doesn't have a fully leveled artifact piece, and crowning should be banned. The thing is, a lot of people have their characters crowned already, and I don't want to prevent them from participating in this category because they have their characters crowned. It's already shitty that I have to do it for constellations because you can't turn them off, but you also can't unlevel your talents. But there's a lot more people that level their talents than people that get constellations on their characters, you know? So, yeah. Same thing for weapons. Stuff like R5. What's it called again? Sack Jade on Neuvillette is sus. Like, you know, be reasonable. Anyways. So, point is to show performance for a non-min-maxed account. All right. If your artifacts genuinely suck, you can ignore the level restriction. Because again, right, it's the whole point of it is to be reasonable, right? Like, I think most people that are gonna post submissions are gonna be people that would need to apply these, but just in case, having something like this is yeah. Anyways. Next we have good builds. Point is to show performance on accounts with min-maxed builds. No artifact restrictions. This category will be the most bloated. Yes, it should be. No talent restrictions. Standard 5-star weapons allowed. Signature 5-star weapons not allowed. Ideally R1, but whatever. If you have a fucking R2 lost prayers, you can use it. It's fine. But don't use R5, you know? Isn't pulling 5-star signature part of min-maxing? I mean, so is pulling constellations, but there's another category for that. So, yeah. Um, 5-star characters must be... Actually, I realized... Except standard characters. Standard 5-star characters can have constellations except with limits. Tiltnutty up to C2. Daya up to C2. C3, I guess. I guess C5, actually. Sure. Limited 5-star characters must be T0 or equivalent. If you can adjust your constellations, or if you can balance your constellation by removing an artifact, that's allowed. Or whatever. Can balance a constellation by removing an artifact. If you have no strict guidelines for that, just be reasonable. The goal is to simulate C0 damage. So if you have a constellation that gives you 20% more damage, then adjust to a build that gives you 20% less damage. Try to get equivalent to C0. If your constellation gives you utility, try to get a clear where the utility didn't help you or something like that. No limits on 4-star constellations, but mention them clearly in submission. Alright, that's for the good builds category, and then whale category. Point is to let people flex, honestly. Open to anything. That's pretty much it. Alright. Then we have casual category. Will we watch all of these submissions? We're gonna try to watch a decent amount, at least. If we get... I mean, I still don't know how many submissions we're gonna get, right? Because this is my first time doing it. If we get a lot of submissions, we might try to implement a system where we only watch the submissions that get the best reactions, or that get the most amount of reactions. On Discord, assume at least 500. I think there's no way we're getting 500. But yeah, also... I think 50 to 100 is a solid estimate. I'd be pretty happy with that. Are you trying to make this a reoccurring thing? Yeah, I am. Okay, casual category. Point is to show what can be done without min-maxing gameplay. Resets allowed if something goes horribly wrong. But not encouraged. No cringe. Strats like booking or what else? Can we just do cuts to not show resets? That's not the point. The point of the casual category is to get a casual clear. I'm telling you here, like obviously I don't want to see your fucking resets. I'm telling you, if you're submitting for casual, it shouldn't be a run that took you 10 resets to get. You can't crit fish, you can't like do any, yeah, or crit fishing, or so dying is fine. That's, again, right? Fucking read it. Resets allowed if something goes horribly wrong. Like that. I'm not telling you you're not allowed to reset. I'm telling you you're not allowed to reset until you get the perfect clear. The point is to show a casual clear. Surely you understand that if a casual player dies, they're going to be like, oh fuck, and they're going to start over. But if they, I don't know, don't get a sack proc on Sing 2 or something like that, they won't. Yeah, like just don't abuse resets. Yeah, like spin to it, Neuvillette. Fucking wave dash Hu Tao. Fucking. What else? Dragon Strike Diluc. These sort of things are reserved for speedrun category. I will allow for stuff like mapping / booking Noel's charge attack. Because that's not really... I feel like it's too... It's too integral to Noel. Exercise reason and logic when choosing the category or whatever. Just be reasonable. And then I guess I'll just call it try hard instead of speedrun, because technically they're all speedruns. Point is to show what optimal gameplay looks like. No limits to amount of resets. Can reset for good RNG as still try to limit things like crit fishing. Booking allowed, but don't book spam for timer. Right, you're allowed to use booking to like catch particles or get faster rotations to swap and stuff like that. But like I've seen the fucking like 10-second Magukenki clear where they just spam book so that like Magukenki gets up without really taking up much timer. And like don't fucking do that. Like be reasonable with the booking, you know? Can you show that on stream? I don't know where it is. It's a pretty old clear. Yeah, I'll give an example of the right way to label your message. Jamie did something like that in his recent video. That makes sense. Jamie's the kind of person who would book spam. For sure. I'd ban booking in every category. It's bug abuse, quite literally. I mean, eh. The only meaningful difference between a bug and a feature is whether or not it gets fixed. They've already fixed some of the things for booking and they've left some alone. I think it's completely reasonable to say that the booking features that were left alone are features, not bugs. What is crit fishing? Going for a low crit rate, high crit damage build, and resetting until you get a crit. Like, it's fine if you reset until you get a crit, but don't go like 10% crit rate, 400 crit damage. Like, still go for a reasonable crit ratio, and then if you want to go for a crit, that's fine. But yeah, I think that does it. So, it's kind of bothering me that C0R1 has to enter whale. I mean, you don't have to. You just use another weapon. What about mid-investment obtainable as free-to-play, such as C2R1 Raiden or C1 Hu Tao? That's the same as whales. Like, there's no... If you vertically invest into your... It's not even just vertical investment. If you spend all your primos on constellations on a character that has good constellations, there is no meaningful difference between that character and a whale character. Sure, your account may still be free-to-play, but your experience with the game is much closer to that of a whale than to that of other free-to-play players. So what's the point of having a category just for that. You're not gonna struggle. Like, why does there need to be one? Yeah, whatever. I don't know if I have enough ER in my Shangling. I kind of wish I had a bit more. Maybe I should just use this. This. Wouldn't you pick C6 characters over C1 for the whale category? I mean, yeah, but like, when we look at the submissions, we'll know that it's C1 or C6. But it's just, I don't see a reason to make multiple whale categories or to split them up, because I don't think the whale category really matters. If you're interested in actual speedrunning competitions, there's a bunch of them already out there. I'm a lot more interested in the low investment and just good builds at C0 categories, because they're generally not the sort of stuff people focus on nearly as much in terms of like speedrunning community, but they tend to be what players need in terms of information. It doesn't get nearly as much attention, but it's, in my opinion, a lot more important. That's what I'm trying to address, basically. But I don't want people that have whale builds or anything like that to be completely excluded either. How about characters you can benefit from the current leyline disorders? No limitations on that. Because at the end of the day, the point is for it to be the meta roundup, right? And so as such, characters that do particularly well in a given abyss should perform better. It's something that's worth mentioning. Anyways, I'm gonna do a casual clear. I'm not gonna actually record it, but I'll give you an example of what I mean. But this would be something that would be categorized in the good build, casual clear category.
Let's get down to business. How's that? Hyperberry.
So once I've done my clear, obviously I'd record it and shit, but then I would also mark down the time that it took me. So that was 42 seconds. Oh, one fucking collies. 42. Didn't remove the feather. Yeah. Because this would be in the good builds category.
Your coming was foretold. The eternal oasis at long last.
Ideal. Good enough. Alright. But yeah, like, this is the sort of stuff that can very easily happen in a more casual clear. Right? I got staggered, and like, that's normal. That's supposed to happen. It's the kind, and like, I wouldn't reset for something like that. Oops. Little annoying, but that's fine. But yeah, like, as you can see, this was far from a completely min-maxed clear. 36. That's, what, 80, 84 seconds? Far from a min-max clear, but like, that's good enough, right? Like, that's what I want from a casual clear. It's like something, it's like nothing went wrong to the point of like a character dying or like missing a burst on an important character or something like that. But it was like far from an optimized clear. You haven't seen actual casual players. You're an idiot. Like, how many times do you have to say stupid shit, man? That's getting annoying. The point is not actually to showcase how someone who doesn't know how to play the game is gonna play. There would not be any use to showcasing how someone who doesn't know how to play is playing. Like, what is there to gain? Why would I want that? You know, like The point isn't to show how a team performs if you don't know how the game works. The point is to show how a team perform if you're not fucking tryharding and resetting in order to get a perfect clear. Anyways. I'm an idiot. Yeah. I delayed my hit because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to... Bro. Hit? Hello? That's fucking annoying. What the? But yeah, like stuff like what just happened. This is the point of a casual clear. It's not. But this is a good casual. Yeah, like this is a very good example of a casual clear. How much was that? 42. 78? Anyways. Some clear mistake, but still there's a good rotation. Yeah, like you're playing the team like you're supposed to as a general rule, but like sometimes you get hit, sometimes you miss some of your stuff. Like the sort of stuff that can happen if you're not resetting. Anyways, I don't need to actually finish it. So then I'd take all of these, cut the Nahida team, cut the Hyper Blue. Then I would add this part where I would just go through the characters, show their builds. Fucking. Alright, so. Put my camera somewhere it won't be a pain. Alright, so you show total stats, weapon, artifact, constellation, talents, and then you do the same for each character. I'm not gonna actually do it, but that's what you're supposed to do. And once that's done, you take all of this together and that's your video. Now, once you have the video, here's how you do your submission. Do we have the channel already? Or do I need to make it? I think I need to do it. New text channel, gonna be called Meta Roundup Submissions. Permissions, no. Overview, slow mode, 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so here's how we're gonna try to do this. You'll have submission format. Archetype, name, plus carry, investment category, difficulty, or whatever, gameplay / skill category, um, 12-1 time, 12-2 time, 12-3 time. Archetype name plus carry. Half chosen. First or second half. Link. I think that's it, right? Submission example format. Can each national with Farina. First half. Good builds. Casual. $42, $84, $78. I guess I should also have total time. $204. I can't be bothered uploading. But this is where your lake should go. Yeah, I guess. Full team. Oh. Ganesh. Bennett. Full team with constellations. C0 Kanich, C6 Bennett, C6 Chengling, C0 Farina. Make an announcement for YouTube folks that aren't in the Discord. I think I'll make the meta roundup for this Abyss without the submissions. And I'll make a part 2 to the meta roundup once we have enough submissions for it. But in the video that I post for the meta roundup, I'll explain the new format as well. That's the plan right now. Anyways, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. have returned. Can I post videos from mobile? Sure. Is 160p okay? I'd rather not. I don't want to put any actual strict requirements on quality, because I know not everyone can handle... Like, not everyone has hardware that can handle recording in high quality. But if you can, try to record in as high quality as possible. Yeah, there's no need to go past 720p though. 720p is like more than enough. Or are the videos supposed to be uploaded before linked YouTube? Yeah, they can be unlisted, but they have to be on YouTube. Anyways, I do believe it's time for the meta roundup recording now, though. So I think you guys can say hi to YouTube now. Let me put a marker for the editors. Is a new Discord channel available already? Not yet. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Hi. Hi. To the meta roundup for patch 5.0. Now, this is going to be the last time, hopefully, that the meta roundup takes this format. I've decided to change the format for the meta roundup for future iterations. I will be talking more about that later on in the video, and it actually requires your help, you YouTube viewer. So make sure you stick around for that. But before we get into the format for future meta roundups, let's talk about this abyss. This is truly an abyss of all time. I'd say that compared to previous abysses, it's a lot easier. But it does still have its fair share of limitations, I guess. Mostly in Chamber 1, the veteran Fatui skirmisher, which is basically the local legend version of the Fatui skirmisher. That's what the veteran means. Gets his pyro shield very quickly. It's a lot harder to prevent it from shielding up with stagger than the normal Fatui skirmishers that usually do a few attacks before they start shielding up. Which means that, and then on top of that, it's a lot tankier than a normal skirmisher. Which means that, while you're not necessarily going to need Hydro to break the shield, it's going to be a lot more useful than it would if this were just a normal skirmisher. It's still possible to clear without Hydro, but it's a lot harder. Same thing for the Cryo Gunner. It is also the local legend version. It also shields up early, although it shields up a little bit later than the skirmisher in my experience. It still does shield pretty early, and without Pyro, the shield is very hard to get through. What that means is that in order to get a good clear on Chamber 1, you're heavily incentivized to have both Hydro and Pyro on your team. Or at the very least, Hydro and an Animo unit that can swirl off the Cryo Shield from the Pyro Shield, or absorb Pyro to hit the Cryo Shield. But the point is, you need to have a way to apply Hydro and a way to apply Pyro for the first half of 12-1 to be a comfortable clear, which very heavily limits the teams that are going to feel good to play on the first half in this Abyss. I'd say that as a general rule, the first half is probably the hardest, or sorry, Chamber 1 is probably the hardest of the 3 chambers. Not that it's all that hard if you have the right elements, but really just that the other chambers are not particularly difficult. You'll be able to notice a pretty big jump in difficulty from what we had like a year or 2 years ago, where just having Jade Bloom Terrashroom into Magu Kenki would have been what you'd expect out of a chamber. Now you have three shrooms before the Jade Plume, and a Black Serpent Knight Windcutter before the Kenki. But even then, compared to the previous Abyss, this is really not too much of a problem. I'd say that you're generally better off focusing on getting a team that is well suited for Chamber 1, and you'll probably be good enough for the rest. The Gluttonous Yumkasaur Mountain King deals a lot of damage to itself if you apply Pyro to the little balls that it summons. And so even though it's a very tanky enemy, because you're already incentivized to use Pyro for this, then you can also use Pyro against him and effectively reduce his HP by a lot. Outside of that, there's also another thing that makes this Abyss a lot easier for a lot of teams, and it's the Current Blessing. The Current Blessing is actually really strong. After the active character uses a skill, normal attack and skill damage is increased by 40%. For characters in Night Soul's Blessing, it's 80% instead. This blessing, especially on Kanish and Molani, is insane. Like, straight up insane. It's really, really good. On other characters that use skill or normal attacks to do damage, it's also pretty good. This Abyss, I think Molani really shines, because Molani is a Hydro character, so you can deal with this shield pretty easily, that wants to vape, so you're playing her with a Pyro character that can deal with this pretty easily, and the Blessing is really good for her. So Molani in this Abyss is pretty good. Kanish, unfortunately, doesn't have as many teams that run both Pyro and Hydro, so on the first side it's a little bit more scuffed, and then on top of that, both the Jade Bloom Terrashroom and the Yumkasaur have 70% Dendro resistance. So it's going to be a lot less damage. However, he's still quite good on the second side. this Abyss truly is, as long as you have teams that can deal with the elemental checks properly, a massive reprieve. Is that the right word? It feels a lot more comfortable than the last Abyss. Let us quickly talk about archetypes that are particularly good or bad in this Abyss. I think the first one to mention is Nilo. Nilo doesn't have a great matchup against Cryo Shields at all. So the first half is already really rough, and then on top of that, Chambers 2 and 3 have pretty tanky bosses with a lot of Dendro resistance. So, not great on the first half. And then on the second half, it's doable, but you have relatively high single target DPS checks, which Nilo is definitely not the best at. So it can be fine, but it's definitely not a good Abyss for Nilo. Other characters that are like particularly good or bad in this Abyss. I mean, as a general rule, any character that both doesn't have the best teams in terms of running both Pyro and Hydro, so you can't really play them on the first side, but also require characters that you would want to use on the first side. So for example, if the team I'm using for the first side is Sucrose National, it's gonna hurt the ability for a character like Shao on this. Well, Shao's not bad, actually. I guess Kaniche himself, right? On the second side, if I'm using Beta on the first side, and Xiangling, although Xiangling's not necessary for his teams, Kaniche's available team options are not quite as good. Navia also doesn't have as great of options. Although you could still use Navia on the first half. I do think that, like, when it comes to the second side, pretty much anything other than Mono Hydro because of the Phantasm, pretty much anything just works well. You're incentivized towards teams that have good single target. Personally, in my casual clears, I've mostly been using Hyperloom teams. But you really, really have so many options. Unfortunately, well, or I guess fortunately, because this Abyss compared to previous Abysses is so much easier, it feels as though I don't have as much to say when it comes to which teams do particularly well or poorly. Because I feel like you can kind of just play anything as long as you have a way to trigger, to apply both Pyro and Hydro on your first side. So I think I'll just right now get into an actual clear showcase. What teams do I want to use? Ou bien je fasse le mien, non? Entretien. La différence, c'est que moi, je paye des impôts. Allez circuler, madame, reprendre papier, ce qui te reste de dignité. Aux femmes, trouve-toi un vrai métier. Meow. Laissez donc, madame. Non, oui, je sais. C'est un héros. Ce sera toujours fièrement que j'en parlerai. Que j'en parlerai. It doesn't really matter if she's not on the right build, honestly. I guess it does. Whatever. I can't be bothered. Everything should be good for that. And then on the other side, I can play... What do I want to play on the other side? I'd like to be able to play Kanich, but I don't have the artifacts to have both him and Molani built at the same time. I could just play Arlecchino. Whatever. I can't be bothered thinking. Beautiful. Alright. So, on the first chamber, the enemies on the first wave will spawn in front of you. They'll make a triangle here, here, and here. The one in the back is a Kairagis, and then you have two Nobushis on either side. All three of these enemies are enemies that stick towards you pretty quickly. So you don't have to put too much thought into grouping them. I usually just run towards one of them and start my rotation. Once you've killed them, on this side, the two veteran skirmishers are going to spawn. I believe that the cryo one spawns behind you on the left from starting position. So if you're running towards them from where the first wave was, he'll be on the right. I think. And the pyro one will be on the left. Once the pyro has shielded up, if you get close to it, he's going to backstep. And so ideally, you're going to want to go close to him so that he backsteps towards the cryo one and you keep them grouped up somewhat. And then you try to kill them together. So, let's do just that. Backstep. Unfortunately, he was a little scuffed, but it's not the end of the world because after the cryo gunner shields up, he's gonna start moving towards you. This wasn't perfect grouping, but it'll be good enough.
Your coming was foretold. Bloom as the flowers in Gurabad. The eternal oasis.
That was not it, but it's okay. Not what I wanted to do. I don't actually think I need to use my burst here. Probably just get away without it. Try to keep it for the next chamber. There's really not much to say about the second half. The enemies spawn one at a time, so you just kill them one at a time. And they don't even spawn that far away from each other. What's this again? Right. For the second one, you'll have the 3 mushrooms that spawn in front of you. And once you kill them, the Jade Plume Terratroom will spawn in the middle. Out of these 3 mushrooms, the Dendro one flies up. And if you let him fly up, he becomes a lot more annoying to hit. So you're generally better off targeting him first. Usually what I do is I just run towards him, start my rotation here. Fortunately, I was still a bit slow, but okay. Unfortunately, our rotations are still a little scuffed. Missed the vape here. Missed a crit here. Okay. Fortunately, I think my Baiju is on the wrong artifact. Because something definitely is going wrong. Yeah. I'm fairly certain my Baiju's on the wrong artifact set. Or at least he doesn't have the... He might be on the right set, but there's not enough ER for sure. I'll restart. I guess I have to keep that in mind now. My mistake. But yeah, so start. I guess I want to start with that. Anyways, we should be fine. Now that I'm aware that my builds are a little scuffed. Oops. Yeah, that was too slow. Unfortunate. Missed the vape and the crit. That's unfortunate. Oh well. Far from a perfect run. But I don't want to restart just because I got the builds wrong. Oh! It'll be good enough. It's fine. On the second half, the Wind Cutter, I think it's called, spawns in the north of the chamber, just in front of you. And once you kill it, the Magu Genki spawns. I'll wait. There we go. Very cool. When it comes to Magu Genki, it's something that I've said a few times already, but if you are away from his melee range, as he decides which attack to do, he's a lot less likely to move. So, you might have noticed that I was backstepping and like I stopped hitting him a few times. If you do that at the right moment, which is when he finishes his previous attack, in the time between he finishes his previous attack and decides his next one, he doesn't move. And at the end there, he did try to backstep, but he got blocked by Zhongli's pillar, which was 100% intentional and not just a lucky coincidence. 100%. I'm lying. Alright, finally, you have the Yunkasaur. Very unfortunate. Missed the vape and then missed the crit and then missed the vape. Yeah, this is gonna be a reset. So again, right, my rotation is getting fucked because I have to get my energy on Baiju and it's fucking the timing over really, really badly. Which is incredibly annoying. Anyways, this looks like a good run. Yeah, this looks like a great run. Not perfect, but more than good enough. Very cool. But yeah, so when it comes to the Yunkasaur, as long as you're applying Pyro to the little thingies that he launches, he's a lot less tanky. Outside of that, after his, or he starts with the attack that he's supposed to do after chomping on his 3 little balls. So he does the 3-hit big damage pyro attack. Unless you're playing an HP scaler, if you get hit by the 3rd hit, you're probably just insta-dead. It does a lot of damage. So try to either dodge it or iframe it. After that, he does stationary attacks until he spawns them again. Or, until he spawns his balls. Then he's gonna try to chomp them. If he successfully chomps them without you applying pyro to them, he'll do the 3-hit attack again. Otherwise, he'll just take damage. And then finally, he'll move into an attack pattern where he spins around and moves forward to one of the corners of the abyss. Or I guess it's not corners, but to the edge of the abyss. And then he's going to do the same attack pattern to go back to the middle. That spin can easily knock you away, but it doesn't really do too much damage. Finally, at the end, you just have a normal PMA. Everyone's favorite boss that doesn't have any bugs. I am not happy. But oh well. As usual for the PMA, if you're... keep in mind that its hitbox is really, really janky, and a lot of the time abilities can miss or have weird effects. Once it starts splitting, if you get the crab, that's generally the worst one, and the Dorito, the triangle one, is generally the best one. But because it's on the second half, not the first half, it's a bit more annoying to reset for good RNG. But yeah, overall, mechanically, because there's so many single enemy waves in this abyss, there's really not that much strategy in terms of grouping and AI manipulating. Other than trying to make the Pyro Slinger backstep towards the Cryo Gunner and trying to prevent the winged Dendroshroom from flying upwards. And I guess to some extent, edging the Magu Kenki to prevent him from going backwards. There's really not much in terms of AI manipulation. So it's a really straightforward abyss. Just fucking hit them with your abilities and they're gonna die. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the meta roundup for this abyss. However, like I said at the start of the video, I want to change the format for future meta roundups. So let me explain to you guys what I mean by that. So far, the meta roundup has basically just been me yapping about different team archetypes based on the abyss. And while I do think that is useful, it's also not incredibly thorough. There's a lot of characters I don't have. There's characters I don't end up testing in every abyss. And so, because of that, I've decided to open up Abyss Run submissions in my Discord for people to send their Abyss clears. And the way that I've decided to set it up is to try to open up Abyss Run submissions for people, whether they're good at speedrunning or not, because I think that it's important to the information I provide in the meta roundup to know how people of different skill levels and investment levels end up performing in a given abyss with a bunch of different teams. And so I'm going to start it for this abyss. I'll do a trial run where it's not going to be the meta roundup by itself. It's going to be a separate video from the meta roundup. But starting in 5.1, I'm hoping that that's going to be an important part of the meta roundup itself, where I'm going to ask you guys from the day Abyss drops, which is the 16th, for probably a week of submissions. You can send your submissions under one of, I guess, technically 6 different categories. Really, it's 3 different categories and 2 different, like, try hard levels, I guess. But you can combine them, so 3 times 2 is 6. Basically, I want to see run submissions from people that are low investment, people that have good builds but no like constellations or stuff like that, and then people that want to go crazy with whale run submissions. But I also don't just want to see runs where you reset 80,000 times and until you get the perfect run with amazing enemy RNG and crit RNG and everything. And so I've decided that I'm gonna separate them in like try hard and casual for each of these categories. And so, starting I guess now from the time, well, from the time I'm recording this, we'll have, so it'll have been a few days already by the time this video comes out. I'm gonna open the Discord submissions. Make sure you join !Discord. It's going to be under the Meta Roundup submissions channel. If you want to submit a run, I'll walk you through the basic process. First, you just record a run. Cut out whatever isn't actually part of the run. So, if I want to showcase a Molani team, the Molani team that I was playing earlier, for the first half, I just cut out footage of the second half and of any resets I end up needing to do, and just include the actual run itself. And then after that, show the builds. Upload that onto YouTube and send the link on the Discord channel, along with a little bit more information. So the investment category you're choosing, and the try hard level, I guess. Here's a few things to keep in mind. So I'm hoping the editors are going to help to visualize it a little bit more easily. I'm not going to put any actual hard requirements for video quality. Ideally, 720p would be good, but if your hardware doesn't allow for you to record in high quality, that's fine. You can still submit. It's gonna make me groan, but I'm still glad you're submitting, so that's fine. Don't add any music or anything like that. Just in-game sounds is fine. Make sure when you submit, use the right message format for the submission. If you miss something, you can just edit your message. And make sure you're uploading it on YouTube, not on another video sharing platform. Now, when it comes to the category you're choosing, the basic category is just going to be the good builds. I think that's the category that I think most people are going to be interested in entering, so I'll start with that one. The point of the good builds category is to show the performance that you can achieve with min-max builds without pulling for specific constellations or weapons or anything like that. There's not really build restrictions for the category outside of constellations and weapons. So when it comes to the constellation and weapon restrictions, for weapons in the good builds category, you can use standard 5-star weapons. So Aquila, Jadewing Spear, all the weapons that are only available, or that are available on the standard banner. you ideally shouldn't use R5 of those weapons, but if you like only have an R2 because you've refined it already, it's not the end of the world. You can still use that. You're not allowed to use signature 5-star weapons because, again, the point is to show the performance you can achieve with min-max builds, but without signature and constellation weapons. When it comes to 5-star characters, limited characters have to be C0. However, if you can somehow manage to adjust your character's power to a constellation they have, so for example, if you have C1 Arlecchino, well, you can't remove that C1, but you could make your build worse so that your overall DPS is similar to that of a C0 Arlecchino. If you want to put in the time to do that, you can still do it. Just try to make it clear in your submission format that that's what you're doing. I don't want to just completely disqualify people that have a constellation, but just keep in mind that constellation showcase is not the point, so try your best to adjust for it if you do have it. When it comes to standard characters, the 1.0 standard characters have no limitations on constellations. They can be C6 and that's fine. But Tifneti and Dea do have restrictions. You can't use Dea C6 in this category. Dea up to C5 is fine, but at C6, well, if you're using C6 Dea like just for her E and you're not bursting, that's also fine, I guess. But if you're playing carry C6 Dea, that wouldn't fit into this category. For Tifneti, I decided to put the limit at C2. If you have C5 or C4 Tifneti or something like that, just submit a run with someone else. I'm sorry. Also, try to remember that the restrictions for this, they're not really that strict. It's just, I want to stick to the point of the category. So be reasonable. Use your own judgment. Don't be cringe. But yeah. And then 4-star characters do not have constellation limits, but you do have to mention the constellation in your submission format, which we'll get into at the end. So don't forget to do that. The whale category has pretty much no restrictions. You can do what you want. You can. I'm grouping the C2 and the C6 together because I feel like there's already so much enthusiasm and interest in whale speedrunning in the speedrunning community for Genshin that they don't need more. The category is just there for my viewers that want to flex. Pretty much, it's not really for the meta roundup itself. But it's still there if you have a run you want to send. And then finally, the low investment category. And the point of that category is to show the performance for an account that is not really min-maxed. An account from someone who maybe has watched a guide for a character, but isn't really too familiar with how the game's with min-maxing their builds. And I figured that the best way to do that is to make it so that you have to keep one of your artifacts at +0. So if I wanted to enter in the low investment category with, I don't know, with my Arlecchino, I just replace this for a +0 Glad Flower. Try to use one that doesn't have any useful stats. So Defense, EM, ER, that's whatever. Sure, that works. And you do this on all of your characters. If your builds are complete garbage, you don't need to do it. The point is really just to try to limit build quality so that you don't have insane artifacts. I don't want to put a strict limit on crit value or total useful stats or anything like that, because I'd have to effectively do it for each character, because different characters scale differently with different stats. And so if I put a strict roll value limit, then characters that scale with less different stats get an advantage because they usually have less good rolls to begin with, because there's not as many stats that are good for them. Right? So it's harder for a Mono Pyro Arlecchino to reach 35 good substats than it is for a Vape Changling. Because Vape Changling also has ER and EM that are useful, right? But similarly, if I just put a limit on crit value, it gives the characters like Changling a massive advantage, because the rolls that don't go into crit value can go into EM, can go into ER. And so, all of this to say, I'd rather just have a straightforward, keep one of your artifacts at +0. But again, right, it's not really a strict requirement, just try to stay reasonable with it. We're trying to see builds that are not perfectly min-maxed. That's the point of the category. But yeah, 5-star weapons are not allowed at all. That includes standard 5-star weapons, because again, low investment generally means that the accounts are a little bit younger or newer, so there's going to be less 5-star options available. 5-star characters have to be C0. Standard 5-stars can have constellations in the same way as the good builds category, but again, try to be reasonable with it. If your character has a constellation you can't remove, you can still adjust to it, but keep that in mind. Same thing for talents. Talents don't have any strict restrictions, but you know, keep the point of the category in mind. Same thing for 4-star weapons. So, for example, R5 Sac Jade on Neuvillette is probably not reasonable for the low investment category. An R5 Battle Pass weapon, like, yeah. But something like R1 Serpent Spine is completely fine. But yeah, that's it for the investment categories. Now, for the, like, I guess, gameplay or skill or whatever category, or type, you can either do casual or try hard. Casual doesn't actually mean that you're playing like a casual Genshin Impact player. It's casual within Abyss. It's a casual Abyss player. There's a large portion of the Genshin player base that doesn't touch Abyss at all. We're not pretending like we're playing like them. Like, the point isn't to play poorly on purpose. The point is just to have a category that isn't dedicated to resetting until you get the perfect run, right? So for the casual category, I'm not going to say that you're not allowed to reset at all. Like, if one of your characters die, or you miss an important burst because you fucked up, you can reset, like, that's fine. but limit your resets as much as possible. Only reset if something goes horribly wrong. And you're not allowed to use any, like, sweaty speedrunning strats, like booking, Dragon Strike, you know, all the sort of stuff that you don't really see outside of actual proper speedruns. But again, just be reasonable with it. And then finally, the try-hard category. There's no limits to what you want to do. With one exception, honestly. There's a strat where you can spam book to slow down the timer. I've seen the, like, 10-second or something Kenki clear from like a year ago or something. Where you just end up spamming, like, your book so much that you end up gaining fractions of seconds over and over, and, like, the Kenki gets up, but the timer doesn't really go down. Don't do that. Like, if something is actually straight up completely game breaking like that, and it's completely unenjoyable to watch, try to stay away from it. But outside of stuff like that, booking for energy, booking for swap cooldown is allowed. You can do it if you want. Dragon Strike, Wave Dash if you're able to do it. All of that is allowed. And if you're going to be doing crit fishing, I would appreciate if you don't completely skew your build with, like, 5% crit rate, 400% crit damage. Try not to give yourself a stroke, basically. But other than that, you're free to do whatever. And so you can do casual or try hard for any of the 3 categories. Personally, the ones I'm most interested in are casual, good builds, and try hard, low investment. I guess casual, low investment as well. But I assume that try hard whale is also going to be pretty fun to watch, at least, even though it's not going to have too much impact on the meta roundup. But yeah, once you've chosen your category and recorded your run, and uploaded it on YouTube, you can upload it unlisted, that's fine. You can post it on the Discord channel following this format. So the name of your team, right, in a way that's recognizable somewhat. The half you're using. I should pin these. I'll also pin the rules once I've uploaded them. Anyways, each of your characters with the constellation, so C0 Kaniche, C6 Bennett, C6 Changeling, C0 Farina. The investment category, the run type, casual or tryhard, the time for each chamber, as well as the total time at the end. So 42 seconds, 84 seconds, 78, and then 204 total. And then the link. It's possible that for the for submissions for the next one, the format might change. I might end up doing Google Sheets. I'm still not entirely sure. I want to see how smoothly it goes on Discord. But yeah. How do we get access to the channel? I'll make it available soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys are gonna show interest in it. I hope it's gonna work out well. I hope we get enough submissions that it can actually be interesting. Keep in mind, the goal is not to get the fastest time out of anyone. Ideally, I want to have a bunch of different runs from a bunch of different teams because it's supposed to be additional material for the meta roundup. It's supposed to be a way to actually have a bunch of runs that people can go through on a bunch of different teams, and see how they perform. So, can one person submit multiple clears with different teams? Yes. You can submit as many clears as you want. Don't submit like 30, please. Ideally, I want to be able to actually go through all the submissions, but there's no strict limit on submissions. If you've already submitted something, try not to send another submission that's like the same team as someone else in the same category. But yeah, if your run is noteworthy enough, and again, right, it's not necessarily because of the speed itself. There's going to be other things, but it might end up being used as background footage for the next meta roundup. Well, I guess in this situation, it's not going to be the meta roundup itself, but starting in 5.1, it could be used as background footage for the meta roundup. So that's very cool. But yeah, that's gonna do it. I hope you guys participate. I'm excited to see how it turns out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, YouTube. All right, let's actually submit the rules. Also, okay. And then rules. Please record in decent quality. 720p is ideal, but it's fine if your hardware isn't good enough for it. Don't include any audio other than in-game sounds. Don't forget to include or to cut out resets and other half and include builds at the end. Follow the format properly. You may need Nitro to upload videos. You don't need Nitro to upload a link to YouTube. I guess it wasn't clear enough. Send a YouTube link, not a video file. categories. Low investment. Goal is to show performance on non-min-maxed accounts. No 5-star weapons. Only C0 limited 5-star characters. Five-star standard characters can have constellations, but Filthnutty is limited to C2 and Daya to C5. B or use a +0 flower or feather to emulate low artifact quality. If your build is garbage, you can use a real artifact instead. Just be reasonable. Good builds. The goal is to show performance on accounts with min-maxed builds, but no high constellation 5-star characters or signature weapons. No signature 5-star weapons. Standard 5-star weapons are allowed. Try to use R1 if possible. Can I use Missplitter for just base attack on Bennett? Yeah, you can. Again, right, it's like, these are general guidelines more than they're strict rules. Just be reasonable. There's no real difference between using Missplitter and using Aquila on Bennett, so if you don't have Aquila, you can use Missplitter, yeah. Okay. 5-star, oops. 5-star limited characters must be C0. If you really want to participate in this category, but you have a constellation on a 5-star character, you can adjust your build accordingly to emulate C0. 4-star characters can be C6. Same here, I guess. 4-star characters can be C6. And then whale. The goal is to let people who just want to flex their runs participate in the submission. No build limitations. Types. Casual. The goal is to show an average run without resetting or without abusing resets. Resets are allowed, but only if something goes terribly wrong. Try to limit them as much as possible. No booking, Dragon Strike, Wave Dash, etc. Be reasonable. And try hard. The goal is to show the limits of what can be achieved. No limits to resetting. No restrictions on strategy other than actually playing the game. Book spam to slow down the timer isn't allowed, for example. All right, and that's it, I think. Should we do both sides the same investment and skill type? You're only submitting one side. You're only submitting one team at a time. What about Primordial Jade Cutter? It's not a standard weapon. Standard weapons are weapons you can obtain from the standard banner. Is there going to be a deadline for submissions? Yes. But I don't know when that's going to be for this one. Anyways, I am now opening the channel up. It's not a private channel anymore. So you guys should be able to say it. It's on slow mode. Please don't send any messages in the channel other than submissions. Let me know if you guys can actually see it though. I'll put it right under. Why can I not? Oh, I guess I can't. It's annoying. It should be the last channel in the Genshin category. Can you guys see it? I can't see it yet. No? Ah, fuck. What about now? Fuck, I don't know how to make this properly. There's too many roles, man. I don't know how to fucking... Wait. Mod chat. At... Please, Discord mods. Any helpers? Anyways, I'll hope mods do it. Oh, Pog. Alright. Mods have said they will take a look. Poggers. Okay, anyways. My internet is so bad I have to go to audio only. Ain't Norway. That's crazy. Wait. Hello, Jamie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing terrible.
Oh no.
Yeah, if anyone in your chat has played Dark Souls 2, then yeah, basically we were doing Genshin, we did the Withering Waves live stream, and then I was like I spent like 3 hours. There's this place called Frigid Outskirts. Yeah, that's all I need to say. I think if anyone knows,
Aware. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I can imagine.
it's, I think that is the worst area of any Souls game ever. I was literally modding. I never actually mod on stream because Genshin is very chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was AIDS, AIDS, straight AIDS. And I haven't finished it, by the way. I haven't finished it. I had to take a break.
Uh-oh.
We'll try again next stream.
Oh.
But yeah,
It is what it is,
how,
you know.
how was your stream?
I have made. I've decided to start a new format for things. I've decided to start. I mean, I don't know if I talked to you about it, but I've asked people to send Abyss Run submissions that aren't necessarily speed runs, but I want to start compiling both speed runs and just like casual runs for my meta roundups.
Yeah, we did discuss that a bit.
Yeah.
I think it was on your stream.
Mhm.
Have you made any progress with it?
Yeah, I've just finished recording the video announcing it, so hopefully the submissions will start coming in soon. I'm excited to see how much interest there's going to be in it, but
Yeah, it sounds. Well, I was looking a bit at what
Mhm.
you were doing. I guess it's. Sorry, I'm just seeing the comments of people talking about the Dark Souls 2
Yeah.
area. Yeah, that is, bro. That okay. I don't even want to talk about Dark Souls 2. Fuck that game. Yeah. I think so. The goal of what you're doing is basically you're getting just more perspectives,
Yeah.
basically on different levels of accounts, which is quite cool. I don't know. Oh shit! I got an ad on your stream. But yeah, I don't know how much interest there'll be. Maybe there'll be quite a bit. Maybe
Yeah. I hope
I
so.
have no idea.
If there's
Obviously,
actually enough interest, I might open up the whale category into more than just anyone who's got signatures or constellations gets lumped into it, and make it more like.
the only thing I saw, I think, from your document, you don't have it on screen now, but from what I saw, you don't allow 5-star weapons for anything apart from the whale category.
Well,
Is that
I
correct?
allow standard 5-star weapons on the good builds category, like the middle one.
Because this is where it gets into like subjective stuff, and obviously, it's subjective. It doesn't really matter, but a lot of people would say that a 5, especially with the new decreases in the amount of pulls you need to for a 5-star weapon, you could say doing C0R1 on a 5-star character is. Some people would say that's more quote unquote relatable than a C6 4-star.
Yeah, the main reason why I decided not to do it is because I feel like when you look at stuff with like there's already enough speedrunning content out there for like signature C0R1, C2R1, like in all those different categories. I'm more interested in compiling like the more like average player experience than the min-max player experience.
I see. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's subjective, but I would argue like you could do like scuffed 4-star teammates. I think that could also be like how to explain it. Like you don't have to use perfect teams. Anyway, but this is how it gets sort of into just make up your own rules. Everyone has their
Mhm.
own rules because yeah, I mean, like I said, I would probably
But
like for
like,
example
it,
like the Mulani stuff. Like Mulani, you could use like any teammates and you know like you could use random teammates and
yeah,
you could and it'd be interesting to see oh with these teammates this is what the gameplay looks like with
yeah.
this
Like
teammate looks better.
the
So
main reason, the main like reason why I don't really want to allow signatures for this is because it's more so supposed to be a compendium than a competition. Like it's not really about making it fair. It's about making it clear.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
And there's
Although
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
I hate to say it, but like feel like um so for example for catalyst characters, if they're not gonna use their signature, they're probably just gonna do like Widsith or something, which is just like more RNG.
Yeah, but there's gonna be like I have like the three different categories, but I also have two different types of runs. You can either do like a try hard run or a casual run. Try hard runs are gonna use Widsith a lot, but casual runs you're not supposed to reset. Like you can
Oh,
reset
so
if
this
something goes
means
horribly wrong,
okay.
but it's mainly just you do a run through without really resetting.
Oh, okay, so yeah, okay, so it's just okay. I see what you're saying. So it's just
Hmm.
you're just getting the gameplay of like
Yeah,
different
yeah,
like
exactly. Like
types of okay, fine.
it's supposed to serve both as a way to get an idea for how different teams perform, but also as a way for there to be a database of footage of a bunch of different teams being played somewhat reasonably that people can look at if they don't know how to play their team.
Are you? I did. I missed it. Are you doing it like whenever there's a new abyss? Is it mostly for like getting that early footage for a new like abyss format
Yeah,
and then it's
starting in
there?
5.1, that's mainly what it's gonna be. But right now, I'm just testing it out, seeing, trying to feel out how much interest there is.
Yeah, no, it could be interesting.
But yeah, and all of the submissions are going to be like publicly available in my Discord. So if you want to go through them, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, I see. Okay, that would be cool. I was actually doing something similar-ish, but I guess not that similar. Um, but you know those videos that people do with like other games, like people do like top 5 gameplay of the week or
Mm-hmm.
like top 5 speed ones of the week with like different sorts of games. I was thinking about it, and no one did that. No one's done that for like Genshin. So yeah, that's what we were working on, and I've got some submissions for that as well.
Yeah,
I thought that would be
I think
interesting.
that's pretty cool.
It's
Like
not
I
it's not gonna
know,
be. Oh yeah, sorry, carry on.
yeah, I know. Like you made a video on the Gaming Melt speedrun when Gaming came out.
Yeah,
The was it Force only? I think it was Force only.
it was a 4-star only
But
cut.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I think even if it's not on new characters, just like very like neat little teams like that, like a video every abyss or something that looks at a bunch of teams like that could be interesting as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wasn't actually gonna do like top 5 fastest. It was more just like that's just the title like of the types of videos people do, but it would be
Top
like a
five
mix of
August.
yeah, like maybe like one or two of them will be like actually super fast, but some
Mm-hmm.
of them might just be
Just
what I would
interesting
like to do is just
showcases for
yeah,
teams.
like 5 different teams, and then like maybe like one or two of them are like super fast, and maybe like two of them are like a team has a good clear, but someone on YouTube might not have known about.
Yeah, yeah.
Like for example, okay, this kind of it covers both because it's both very fast and unique. But for example, I don't know if you know, but Milani Candice is like popping off right now. Like everyone,
Yeah.
well, okay, not everyone, but like look, everyone's like
With
speed running is you can get.
with VV or something else.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
either with Sucrose or with Kazuha,
Yeah, because
and
in my experience when I was testing, Candace was the best like last slot for the VV teams. She was the one that felt
Yeah.
where the rotations felt the smoothest. So that
Yeah,
does that makes
she
sense.
is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think like the average person who watches my videos on YouTube would actually know to try Candice. So that would be an example of
Mhm.
like, let me get some gameplay out and show people what that is. Because yeah, Candice is insane. I feel like people don't know how insane Candice is with Mulan. It's almost perfect.
Yeah, it's a very, very good synergy on a shit character that makes her pretty good, like pretty solid overall.
And she doesn't need constellation. She just needs talent investment. Most people are even
The
just using
setups
like
are
level
crazy without
80.
cons though.
No, but you don't. It doesn't make a difference.
You have more flexibility in your setups if you have C6.
No. Literally in fact, it's the other way around. I've only seen like out of like 30 videos I've seen, and one I've tried myself. Only one person has C6.
Yeah,
Everyone else has
that's
like
just because they don't have
C1,
it. It's not because they're
C3.
choosing not to use it.
But I don't think it makes a difference.
When I was testing, there was a setup that was slightly faster using C6 than not using it.
Okay, let me send you
Yeah, sure.
let me send you a gameplay example. It doesn't make it because are you talking about a specific artifact set? Because there's also like 10 different builds going on right now as well. Like
Mhm.
I've seen double scrolls. I've seen scrolls on Candice and Xiangling. I've seen Candice using scrolls, Xiangling using Archaic Petra. I've seen Instructor Candice and then
Yeah.
scrolls Xiangling. I've seen Instructor Xiangling.
I see.
Scrolls. It's ridiculous. Let me just find a video quickly.
Sure.
It's
The
just so
most
flexible. It's like you can do anything. Yeah, you don't even need the other crazy thing about the team is you would think like with Xiangling, Candice, you think there's energy problems with the team, but in fact, the interesting thing about a lot of Milani teams at the moment is that you barely even need bursts, especially Xiangling. That you can get by if you have enough damage with like just Guoba, at least in single target. Pyronid is more about for AOE.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
think that's a little well brained. Like
No, I mean
I
it's
agree
easier
if you
as
have
well.
enough damage, but like I don't.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's definitely not whale though. This is all like C0 stuff.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like my Molani stuff is hitting for 200k, not 300. It's a pretty big difference, and it's enough to make it so that you notice a lack of damage in rotations where you don't use burst.
Whoops. Okay, check this shit out. Let me send you this. Where am I gonna let me send on your EM. Check this out. This is ridiculous. This is insane. And it shows the flexibility of Candice. It shows the flexibility of Xiangling. This is C0R1. I think this guy is running double scrolls. I think.
Dude,
Maybe not.
What is this? They're doing over twice the damage that I do. That's fucked up.
Have you finished your build?
No.
Oh. Yeah, I was pretty happy with my run with Kachina. I got a similar run to what this guy got with Kachina, but it turns out Candice is just way faster than Kachina. And yeah, this would make, like I was saying before in my stream,
What is
this would
this
make
fucking shit? 1 million. I've never done 1 million damage in my life.
But if you notice, they only needed Pyronado for one of the chambers there.
Yeah. Yeah, but like
But
this is.
it's C0. It's Crimson Witch. It's not even a real set. I mean, it's good artifacts, but yeah, it's It's not even the real set.
How much crit rate do they have? 54. Every single hit crit. Okay, no. That's cheating. That's cheating. You can't do that. That's cheat. You have to admit that's cheating.
Yeah, I mean, I can show you my video. My video has like 75 crit rate, I think. Let me link this. Which is fine. You don't need to crit fish like this. This is just like for people just trying to push it to the limits.
Like I said, right? Like I agree with you when you look at like really high investment stuff. You're not that reliant on your burst. But if you're looking at like your actual average DPS on a reasonable build, not having your burst, only being able to vape 2 instead of 3 chomps is a pretty big deal. Like it hurts. It hurts a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I sent you the video I uploaded. I think this is 75 crit rate, or maybe even 80. Hold on, I can't even remember. This is. Wait, what is it? 79 is basically 80. That's basically 100 if you think about it.
True.
But this is with Kachina. She's not as good as Candice, but I still like Kachina anyway. But yeah, just a reminder, both these teams don't have healers or shielders, so it's do not try this at home unless whatever the.
You didn't get a Hydro Swirl here, right? Or did you?
Yeah, I didn't have time because
you're doing significantly more damage without a Hydro Swirl than I do with one.
But also, are you stacking? Are you stacking all the buffs on the supports as well?
What do you mean?
Like the artifact sets. Like I'm using scrolls.
I'm not
VV,
using scrolls, but that's it.
And then here I just do a hydro only.
You're doing as much damage on a hydro only than I do on my vapes. Aware.
And this is a Grover setup. Oh, that's a book. That's a book in order to time the vape.
Nice.
You might not like that, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's the sort of stuff that it is completely fine for tryhard stuff. Like,
yeah. And this is the double. This is just to save a split second. I actually checked this. I don't think that actually saves any time, but it could have. It could have. And then here I couldn't one rotate. The cool thing here with Guoba, because Guoba is shorter than Pyronado, it allows you to reapply VV if you can't one rotate. So you have like a 6-second damage window, and then you have time to reapply the buffs and then go again. Yeah, this is my build at the moment. I don't have a Obsidian Codex yet. I've been farming. I've built Mulani, Kachina. I'm trying to get rank 1 Kachina right now. Candice and Chevrolet. My Kinich is still level 20. But those are who I'm prioritizing.
I see.
These are pretty relatable builds.
Yeah. Sure. Sure, we could act like that's sure.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, just the point was that Mulani's really interesting at the moment. And I thought like people might be interested in all the different types of teammates you can do, especially when they're underrated teammates. And in fact, I think you might agree with this, but actually you might not. But the fact that Candice is really good on like quote unquote people say top 3 DPS or whatever bullshit people talk about, like
yeah,
Arlecchino and Mulani, the fact that she's really good with both of them actually makes her very relevant at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Candice might go.
Oh, yeah. But the only issue is, with Arlecchino, you really want C6, and then with Mulani, I don't know. Some people are saying C6 bricks, but I have no idea.
For Mulani?
Yeah, because it's too much.
Personally, I think that C6 makes it a lot easier. I can show you the setup I've been doing with C6 if you want.
Turns out when a DPS does good damage, they're relevant. I mean, that's kind of why I think Actually, I think I was talking about this with you the other day, wasn't it? It's like a lot of these hyper carries, they're making these supports that just do. They don't do that much, but they. We were talking. I think maybe I was in your Twitch chat, but it's like Novila, Arlecchino, Candace. A lot of these characters like so hyper carry that these characters like Candace, Kachina, they don't really do that much, but
Yeah, but they're
because they
still
buff
usable
the
just
damage,
because. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a new era.
This is the setup I do. It's just.
It's my lucky day.
Candace is meta confirmed. Haters are gonna hate, but I would say so. 300k, that's not bad, is it?
Yeah, I mean that's what I do with.
Or is it bad? I don't know. I think that's okay. What was I doing? Like 400k or something? It's not bad.
Oops. I fucked up the setup for the pyro
Have you
one,
tried
but-
Sucrose with this team as well?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I would use Sucrose if it wasn't for the shields here. If it was just like the chamber 2 and 3, I would actually rather use Sucrose than Kozawa.
I like Sucrose more than Kazuha as a whole as well on the Milani team.
Yeah, it's also I like she has good synergy with Xiangling and getting like a quick setup.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether you're using Pyronator or not, like whether you're using like Sucrose's burst. Sucrose, the quick animations and the quick setups I think are very helpful for Mulani.
Whatever.
But yeah, the issue with Sucrose is if you're not like super quick, I don't know exactly how it works, but it's like almost impossible for you to stop him from shielding up. Because with Kazuha, you have the instant pull and stagger, and I don't know what you're supposed to do with Sucrose there. And then you could die, because then once they bring out that cryo AoE, that's like the instant death.
Aw. Well, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Widsith literally people don't know this, but Widsith literally does more damage than the signature. It's just that you have to do the RNG.
Yeah, that's cringe. That's too cringe for me.
Yeah, but have you seen the burst? The burst damage difference? I think I got like 20 to 30% or something. If you get the elemental damage bonus buff, and maybe like 10% or something if you get the EM buff. So yeah, if anyone wants the RNG fish, you don't need to pull the signature.
Oh, they're dead.
But yeah, obviously, so you were looking for. I know you're in the middle of a gameplay right now, but yeah, so you're not just looking for insane gameplay, right? Like this.
No,
You're
no.
also looking for just a bunch of different characters and teams.
I think I might have. No, I didn't. I thought I canceled my M1, but I didn't. Ah, fuck. I didn't get it in time. Oh well. Oh well. But yeah, I like C6 Candace here because it lets you have more VV uptime. Because you can do Candace into Xiangling into normal attack. Oops, I'm an idiot. Normal attack into sucrose, and then you can immediately swap the Molani from sucrose.
Have you tried it with other pyros?
This team, not really, no.
Okay. I have a feeling like T6 with other pyros, you might run into vape issues.
Why is that weapon on Candace, Mr. Zajef? Because I forbore. No other reason. But yeah.
Oh, that's the other thing. A lot of people are also using Black Tassel. So it's like super scuffed Candaces, and she's still so good. It's like C1, C2, level 80, level 1 talents, Black Tassel, random artifacts, and she's still so good. Anyway, enough of the Candace glazing.
Agreed. Anyways, thank you for joining. I'm getting pretty tired, so I'm gonna wind down my stream. But thank you for joining.
Yeah, no problem.
We can yap again soon about the stuff that you'd sent me a few days ago. Yeah, I'll let you know. Goodbye, Jamie.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, chat. That's probably gonna be it for the day. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you had a nice time. If you didn't, well, fuck you, I guess. Yeah, I don't really want to raid anyone today. I think I'm just gonna end stream. And, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are doing the event, so remind me. We're doing the Doroko event. And, maybe going through some of the submissions if we have enough. We already have 2 Pog. But,